they wouldn't go broke in these nuclear facilities, and at the moment they operating at a very nice profit.
And have been for a very long time. So
yes.
I agree with you. But so there's and New Jersey's portfolio right now, a lot of our energy portfolio is comes from nuclear fuel right now. But Christine Clark pointed out, they have like this climate project, and there is a path. We don't need these or fossil fuels. New Jersey can be 100% renewable. So I say renewable, not clean, because nuclear is not clean in my book.
I have a separate question.
Yeah.
What is the? Can you talk at all to the Chuck Schumer's Climate Act? What is that? Or I'm not. Are you? Because I don't know nothing about it. I just know he put out a Climate Act, and I'm not sure.
None of the it doesn't. They don't go far enough. So there's nothing out there at the national level that actually moves as far on climate change, and there's a discussion about reinvigorating the committees that look at climate change, which we should definitely do because they were run by climate deniers under our last, until 2019. So those things need to change, but there is no strong climate policy. There are different ways to address climate change. There are people that are advocating on both sides of the aisle for a carbon tax. Again, it's a market mechanism. You can decide you like it or you don't, but there's a lot of people that support moving that idea forward. On the national level, we fell apart on a cap and trade program that was proposed in 2007, I think, that Obama didn't push through. Again, there was a bill that came out 2 years ago that with a lot of fanfare that didn't ask for that much, and it didn't go anywhere. And so, again, the package of what could be, in 10 years, our moonshot on climate should include a lot of things, and we should ask for everything because we need to go that far, and then let it get cut back. But don't already compromise on things because we might not get them, because who's to say that we're not going to get, and there's an act that is out there now calling for 100% renewable by 2035, so not by 2050. So there's a lot of numbers negotiating, and people say we can't do that, but why should we not ask for that? And then if it gets pushed back to 2050, it does.
So I just saw Cory Booker at a small event that was actually run by this guy David Barry, who develops a lot of Hoboken, and I was really proud of him for two reasons. But the reason that I bring this up is because he said that somebody asked him about the Green New Deal, and he goes, "Look, when Kennedy said let's go to the moon." Everybody thought he was crazy, and he said, "This is our shoot for the moon moment. We need everything that's in that Green New Deal, and we need to go for it." He also brought up, which is something that we didn't touch on here because there's a million things we could cover, but I'm pretty sure one of the largest contributors to global or to carbon emissions is our buildings, right? And so retrofitting buildings or building green is a huge way to reduce.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Kathy, because tomorrow in the New York City Council, they are voting on what's been colloquially called the Dirty Buildings Act. I think it's Bill 1253. And what it would do for buildings that are over 25,000 square feet, it requires a reduction of 40% greenhouse gas emissions. And buildings, they have a formula because different buildings are set in different ways. But it's a significant reduction of greenhouse gas emissions from buildings, and then buildings would be rated like restaurants, with ABC, so you would know when you go into a building. And that, if that passes tomorrow, it would be huge, because it would be New York City setting an example for the rest of the country and the world, because that doesn't exist. And as Kathy said, buildings are one of our largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions. There's low-hanging fruit we can do in terms of insulation and other ways to do it, but building green from the beginning, because buildings get, they have we are building new all the time, and it's not just for big buildings, it should be for our houses too. But big buildings in New York, they're, I think it's under 5% of the buildings are that size building, but they account for 30% of the greenhouse gas emissions from the building sector. So, we should all root for New York City to pass that tomorrow, because it actually is huge for our country, and actually is an example for big cities around the world. So
That's
We didn't
so-
plan that together.
No, we didn't, and Senator, maybe somebody could tell Senator Warburg to sponsor a similar bill in New Jersey, somebody here maybe could. Because, yeah, that's huge, and honestly, I was really amazed that Cory Booker called out the buildings in front of a big builder, and who was supporting him right there, and apparently he did that in Newark, and I didn't know. And so that's something to pay attention to, you know. Any other questions?
I know you teach at Ramapo, and in 1990, we had the Greenhouse Gas Action Plan in the state of New Jersey. It was sponsored by Thomas Kane, and 56 presidents of the colleges and universities signed on to that to reduce their greenhouse gases as quickly as they could by a certain percentage, and then trained the facilities managers on how they could do that by becoming more energy efficient in their schools. And then the spread across the whole country. New Jersey was one of the first states to really lead the other colleges and universities in doing this. But now, on all these campuses, people some of them go to school there because they have a sustainability program. I'm wondering what you think the impact of all these graduates who've gone through these programs in their schools and been harassed by their own students to do something about the energy, what do you think the impact can be? Because we have to have, if we're going to change it, the population has to buck this power, the power that we've been talking about today.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, we had everything, unfortunately, it's a circular wheel, right? We have to keep reinforcing it, and we had this President's Council of colleges around the country, and now we have the STAR system, actually, that works to have, and you know it well, and you've been involved on all of this, but to reduce the footprint of colleges around the country, and it has to come from the bottom and the top. And so those students that are coming through it have to know that it exists at the colleges, because sometimes, you know, it exists there in the ether and they don't know that it's there. So it constantly has to be educating the professors, educating the facilities managers, just as it is in businesses too. And, you know, we have to, I see it in the local public schools here, you know, parents move forward and make things happen, and then those parents leave and their kids leave, and staff changes. So you know, it's a good and a bad. It's a constant thing. We can't just assume that somebody's minding the store, that it was done, that we've taken care of that check mark, and we need those students to demand it. But then they come into a job, it's not their job. You know, they're coming in at a lower level. They don't have that power. So it comes from us. It comes from all of us working in the businesses that we work in, wherever we work. But I think you're right in terms of the colleges. There's really huge potential there. And it was really big at one point, sort of lost its way. I think it's still there. And some colleges are doing a great job of it, and others aren't.
So, quick recap. Everybody go home and talk to at least 3 people and convince them how important this is. Ridgewood, when we go for the plastic, when the village council hears about the public comment for the plastic bag resolution, please show up. Please sign up for more environmental involvement. We got to visit our freeholders. There's a table for Empower New Jersey for in Jersey City that you can help out at. And all of Eric's actions, looking for the moratorium. The energy plan is going to come out soon, and that's going to be a really, that's the timing for commenting on having a moratorium on fossil fuel. Support the government every other way. There's a lot of corruption out there in the assembly that everybody has to really watch out for and pay attention to. And did I anything else?
Moratorium Mondays. Call the governor, support him every Monday. Give him a call. If you called already, call again if it's a Monday.
Donate to Christina Clark.
Kick out bad legislators.
What? Hey, what did she say?
Kick out bad legislators.
Kick out bad legislators.
I'm running against Jay Weber. You see me, I need help.
Yeah.
Come to the town hall Monday evening in Ridgewood.
Oh, the town hall, everybody, the town hall, April 22nd. Yes. Are you going?
Okay. Everything you want.